Hey everybody, welcome back to the mountains of northern Utah. We're out here just outside of the Salt Lake City area. It was snowing all day, as it often does on the first day of spring in the mountains, but wanted to give everybody a live demonstration on the new 80mm Dassault Rafale from FMS. Beautiful, loud paint job on this thing. It flies great, guys. There's been some debate, a lot of questions about the setup and function, so I'm going to address some of those and give you guys a demonstration flight. I'm running it on a 70C 4400 milliamp roaring top battery. It is back near the aft CG range end. It says from 110 to 130 millimeters on the CG range, and I'm running it about 125. The airplane flies good there. It rotates a little more scale. Because of the gear setup and not having much angle of incidence to the runway, it has a tendency to pop off the ground, but with a lighter battery and back near the aft edge of the CG range, it functions great there. A lot of debate about the speed brakes that crow and act as a flap function, and I made an extensive post on the maiden flight from yesterday on the various RC group forums. Feel free to go look that up, but I'll explain it again here a little bit. The aircraft comes with a mixing board. It actually functions really well. All you have to do is plug the elevator, aileron, throttle, rudder, gear, and quote-unquote flaps in to the mixing board to your receiver. Now, on the actual aircraft, they use the crow of the flaps as kind of a speed brake when they're approaching the carrier with the Rafale, because it's a carrier-borne French aircraft. What that allows it to do is have a higher spool rate on a turbine engine, and most of the power on turbine engines is in the upper RPM. It does have a little bit of a flap function, but it also functions mainly as a speed brake on this aircraft. The canards tilt up, nose up. The outer elevons tilt up, and then the inner elevons tilt down in kind of a flap function. If they didn't have the other ones tilting up, the inner ones would make the airplane pitch into the ground. So that's why it does it the way it does it. So we'll show you it with and without, and we'll do a demonstration flight showing you with and without in the air. So this is no flaps, and then this would be what you would call approach or takeoff flaps, and then full flaps. And then we'll show you that up close too. And it's all done through the mixing board with preset deflections. The one thing you can adjust is because it goes through the flap function on Spectrum radios, you can adjust the amount of elevator compensation with how much they deflect to give it a little more nose up or nose down. In this case, it takes nose up to compensate for that. And I use 18 units of up compensation for approach or takeoff flaps, and I use 24 for full. Now, the one thing you got to be careful of on this, guys, is that when you've deflected them as a crow or speed brake, once you go to actually move them as an elevator, you don't get much travel. There's not much left there. So you got to be really careful about getting the aircraft too slow with them down, and we're going to demonstrate that in the air here. I'm only going to do half or approach, but I'm going to give the phone to Camera Girl, and we're going to take it up and show you guys how she flies. Beautiful model, guys. Really loud paint scheme. Not normally my favorite, but especially here in the cloudy skies of Utah, it makes the model show up really, really well. It only needs 150-ish feet of runway to get off. I'm going to go down a little further just so I have the gear sucking up as I demonstrate. It's got beautiful dual stage doors. You hit the gear up, the main doors open first, then the gear retracts, and then the gear doors close after it. So we'll show you that here on the demo. I'm not going to take off with any of the flaps, the takeoff / approach flaps. They don't help for that. Again, they're kind of more draggy than they are lifty. So I've tried that, and if you do a touch and go with this model, guys, I highly recommend that as soon as you're on the ground, you slap the quote-unquote flaps up and take off without them. Otherwise, you run out of pitch authority, and if you don't have a long enough runway, you'll run right off the end of the runway really fast. But enough talking. We're going to show you how this thing flies. Here we go, guys. And real quick, my ailerons are set to the book low rate, and my elevator is set right in the middle between the book high and the book low in my medium rates. Here we go. And again, guys, the airframe is beautiful, but it is a little bit heavy with all the scale details. It's not extremely fast, but it moves really good. It's got a really nice airframe howl here. And with a light, powerful battery like the 70C 4400 milliamp roaring top, it'll get up there a ways. The heavier the battery, obviously more limitations. We'll do an idle pass so you can hear the airframe go by. And again, guys, at the aft end of the CG range where I have it, it's definitely slightly pitch sensitive. We'll do another burner speed pass with the reflection of the water here. And give you guys an aileron pass here real quick, and then we'll set it up and show you how well it slows down. It cruises along real nice on a 50 to 60% throttle, guys. It doesn't have to be going super fast. So I'm about 60% right here, and a roll for you. And again, I'm on low rates, but it'll roll like a drill bit even on medium. So now I'm gonna slow it down a little bit for you. We'll do it clean the first time, then we'll drag it by slow with the gear down and the quote unquote flaps out. I found, guys, that it actually will get a higher alpha if you power down for touchdown and land just a bit slower if you don't use the flap function that they have. Mainly because that's acting as a bit of a speed brake and it just won't fly quite as slow. So we'll drop the gear on the next pass and set up and show you that speed brake slash flap they have as we come by after that. So here comes the gear in 3, 2, 1. Really nice flying Delta, guys, overall. Okay, so I'm going to speed up a little bit before I do the flap function. I'm now to approach, or what the radio calls takeoff flaps. And when I do that, I'm going to go to high rate on my pitch to make sure I have the pitch authority to flare, because again, you lose some of that travel the way they're deflected. And we'll go by real slow here. And it's really easy to get behind the power curve, guys, with these flaps out. You're adding a lot of drag with them. Right now I'm 60% power to just hold the approach speed back to 50%. If you have a weak battery, or if you flew a battery too long, you'll definitely want to land it clean and have a little more pitch authority. We're going to come back and we'll put it on the ground right here in front of you guys, hopefully not in the pond. But again, I'm at the middle flap setting and I'm at high rate pitch. And you can just power down for glide slope, guys. It works out really, really well. Again, 4400 milliamp from roaring top, guys. The 70C, it's got a lot of push for its size. Because in the narrow gear, you need to let it slow down a little bit before you turn around while you're taxiing. Otherwise, it'll tip up on a wing. 3 to 3.5 minutes on a 4400 with mixed flying, generally about 3.7 a cell. We'll show you that here real quick. All right, guys, if we come over here, we'll show you real quick. I had a 340 timer. We got 12 seconds left on that, and then we'll check the battery for you. Throttle cuts on for safety, always, guys, always, always, always. And we're gonna hook it up here. Again, 3.74, 3.76 a cell. Guys, almost 3.5 minutes of time on the power. Beautiful airplane, flies real nice. It does have some limitations. You just got to be careful of that. Make sure you don't get it slow. But I hope everybody enjoyed the demonstration. Thanks again for watching from Salt Lake City, Utah with the new 80mm Rafale.